It's great to have some amount of success behind us where we've now offered this first offering and we've been able to hear what people thought about it, and then I've benefited from the ability to use that to make a better version of the game. It's flying blind a little bit less. We've benefited from having solved some of the problems and now get to focus on some of the most important things that came out of the feedback from the first time. We really set out to create a survival action experience, and we really want to push those systems in a way that the player is immersed in these hostile environments, and they have to leverage the resources they find in those environments in order to overcome the obstacles. So a much tighter relationship between those gameplay systems and your ability to progress. So just as an example, some of the weapon upgrades are going to require hunting a particular animal, and in some cases some of the rare upgrades are going to involve tracking down rare animals, and that might be particular times of day, particular locations, particular weather situations. So really expanding this idea of survivalism. How do you get thrust into this situation and begin to harness the environment in order to survive in that location? We really want people to enjoy the survival systems that have been extended since the last time. On the system side, we were really proud of creating sort of a hub-based game with gear gating, that you could come into a space and there were lots of things that you didn't have access to, and it was really through your ability to find gear and use that gear to progress that you felt much more in control of that experience. And we really liked celebrating that idea that this isn't just a sequence of scenes, that this is a world that you can come back and explore, and it'll be different times of day, and now there'll be different weather, and enemies might be in different populations, and we really create a sense that this world is full of player-driven exploration, and part of that is even giving more rewards for that, really getting more secret tombs and extending that to things like crypts or animal dens or other things that you can find, but then also more skills and gear that can be earned through that exploration. So we really liked that game design structure that allowed players to both experience this riveting narrative, but also feel like they're surviving on an island, or in this case, surviving in the hostile Russian wilderness.
So you're doubling down on the Metroidvania elements.
We do. We love that game structure, and I think it fits perfectly for a Tomb Raider game.
Are you a big Metroid fan yourself?
I am, yeah. I certainly grew up playing Castlevania and Metroid, and obviously Zelda shares a fair amount of similar structures, so those are all some of my favorite games. Another thing that's always important to us, and this is exciting in the context of next-gen platforms like the Xbox One, that Lara is a character. I love it now when you get in close to her face, her eyes are darting around and you see a sparkle like she's almost alive, and things like the hair simulation where each strand is moving based on how she moves. But even more importantly than fidelity probably is just the performance side of it, and we're doing full motion capture on the face, so you're starting to see a lot more nuanced performance. To me, it's super exciting to see her coming to life even more, grounded in her environment and touching things and really feeling like she's aware and connected to the world she's in. For this initial release, that some of the things I'm most excited about are really showing Lara's character journey to going from not just Survivor but to Tomb Raider. The idea that survival really becomes the key with which she unlocks these secrets hidden in these hostile locations, that we really wanted to tie that skills that she built in the first game and understand how they become necessary skills to her journey to becoming the Tomb Raider. And then of course delivering that experience to the player, that after all the game is called Tomb Raider, and we really wanted to set out to make a great tomb raiding adventure for the player and fill it with all kinds of ancient spaces with puzzles to solve and stories to hear and mysteries to solve. And I think some of those things came directly from feedback and criticisms. The idea that we'd love to see more tombs in the game, that was something we very much took to heart. In Lara's progression as a character, we struggled a little bit with her arc, going from zero to full-fledged combat, and we really want to make a rich character with believable progression. And again, we're very proud of actually taking on the challenge of making something like a first kill for a video game character meaningful. But we really also set out to improve improve upon our storytelling and our characterization and things like that, it's important to me at the end of the story that she's a different person than she is at the beginning of the story. And I think we have the opportunity to do that again, and I think the goal is to do it in a way that is grounded and believable and really feel like this is a person who's thrust into these situations and dealing with it. But this time around, it isn't her first time out. So we take a character with more experience put into a situation where she is more prepared for it, and then the challenge becomes escalating what she's facing in a way that still makes it daunting. It is important that even though she learned a lot in the last adventure, she's faced with something that she may not come out on top, right?
Hey, just between the two of us, is she going to come out on top this time?
Well, spoiler alert, she survives this story. It's important that Lara really doesn't set out to kill, that she's put into high-stakes situations where she may have to kill in order to survive, but that's never her first choice.
So it's not as though she enjoys killing after that first game?
Absolutely.
Does a small part of her like it?
No, not even a small part.
Okay, but animals she loves to kill.
She doesn't like killing animals either. I think one thing we haven't talked about yet is combat was another element of focus. In no way do I mean putting more combat in there, but actually trying to continue to make Lara inspired combat experiences. So this idea that more ways to evade enemy detection, that you can swim underwater, you can sneak through bushes, you can stay up in the trees and rooftops. These give you opportunities to avoid combat in some cases if you want, or initiate combat on your own terms. We also tried to capture more tools that you could bring into combat. So whether that be the new ammo crafting system or grenade system or just particular skills or gear that's new this time around, and start to get a little bit more of a combat sandbox feel. There's many approaches to it. We have extended our enemy awareness system, so you get a little bit more of cat and mouse gameplay where you can hide and evade them and take advantage of chaos and distractions in the environment.
Do you think there was too much gunplay and too much fighting in the last game?
No, I mean, I think we try to balance our traversal and exploration and our combat and our puzzle solving. Certainly, I think for some people there was more combat than they would like, and I think we're sensitive to that. But at the same time, it is one of the skills that you have to learn to succeed in this game, and then that's where a lot of the optional content, things like secret tombs, that you can start to bias your experience towards things that you enjoy most. And also having more tools to evade combat when you want to, that's another way that some people enjoy, catering to their own pacing balance. We're really excited about the game we're making. We've taken a lot of feedback from the fans, and we feel that we're able to create an offering that if you enjoyed the last game, I have a feeling that you'll like this one even more.